Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy show. My name is Hassani Pettifor. Good to have each and every one of you here this morning. You know, today is Friday, and Friday is Ask the Experts. It's been quite some time since we've done this, and I'm excited to jump back in the saddle and to have a conversation with you. So the way that this works, you ask your question, I give you an answer. If you're dating, in a committed courtship, engaged, married, separated, divorced, on the verge of divorce, not sure what you want to do, it's complicated, whatever your relational state of affairs may be, this is the place that you want to come to get that insight. There's some of you who are teetering on, should I move forward in this relationship? Should I take the plunge? Should I go ahead and get married? Maybe you're in that season, right? Maybe you are dating, maybe you're newlywed, whatever it is, we want to answer that question. If there are places where you are stuck and you're looking for insight, this is what you want to do. So before we get started, we want to make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. This is a great opportunity to begin to share this information with others, because when you like us, you're voting for us. You're saying, we like what you do, we want you to be here, and we want the algorithm to know that this show is what it's all about. So go ahead and do that for us. We would really appreciate that. Couple of announcements before we get started. The Phoenix Award Gala, October 7th from 7 p.m. to midnight. We're going to be celebrating all into the night. Have you gotten your tickets? What are you waiting for? It's going to be one of those experiences that you do not want to forget. Also, got to announce that Danielle, there's, international impact. She's going to be going to Nigeria for a women's conference called Wow Man, September the 11th through the 17th. So we're excited for her. We want you to keep her in your prayers for safe travels, and that she makes a tremendous impact in the lives of those people. Also, Last Chance Weekend coming up, always the second weekend of every month. I tell you, it's one of the most pivotal transformational experiences that we provide couples from all over the world that are able to start life anew, that we're really excited about. Also, don't forget, thank you, Gonzalez. I see you, my friend. Don't forget to download the Couples Academy app, because that is where it is. That's how you find out about events. That's how you find out about the practitioners. We have articles on there. We have daily devotionals. We have video archives that really cover a variety of different topics that can get you on your way. Listen, what we're going to do, we're going to go to a quick commercial break so that you have time to post your questions, because some of you, I see what you do. You wait till 2 minutes before the show's over, and then you want to ask your question. Listen, dive on in, get in this conversation, post your questions, and we'll get into it. But stay right there. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Hey guys, we're back. You're watching Ask the Experts on this Friday morning. Post your question, because I'm not here to tap dance for you. I'm not going to get on this table and dance. I don't do that. I answer your questions. So if you're tight-lipped and you leave with an unanswered question, whose fault is it? It's your fault. So jump in this pool and let's get wet. All right, we got a question from Darnell. Great question. My wife is not really feeling our relationship right now, and we're supposed to go to Hawaii next weekend. Should I ask her if she wants me to go or not? I think that's a legitimate question, and I want to unpack this from a few different areas. First of all, let me say that feelings are fickle. They come and they go. They're up and they're down. They're in and they're out. And so in one season of life, you feel one way, and then another season you feel another. When you hold on to a feeling long enough, it does become a temperament. And you hold on to that temperament long enough, it becomes a disposition and a way of approaching life. So you find yourself in a space where you're emotionally stuck. Right? We've been talking about this over the last few days. I'm not where I used to be, but I'm not where I want to be. So I'm in this stuck place. So in this in-between time, how should I show up? How should I react? So we had this amazing trip to Hawaii. And it's so funny because on yesterday we were talking about how this couple was celebrating their anniversary in Costa Rica. And man, what a place to go to honor, the fact that we've been together for so long, but yet and still she's looking out the window talking about, I just want this to be over. And a lot of times people think, well, if we just get in a different environment, if we just go on a vacation, it'll change the chemistry, it'll change the connection, maybe something can happen. But you're bringing you everywhere you go. You're bringing your relational patterns, you're bringing your idiosyncrasies, you're bringing your mindset, you're bringing your normal everyday behaviors. You're just in another physical location. So the place alone is not enough within itself to turn things around. It's the level of intentionality you bring to that place that will make the difference for you. So I know I'm saying a lot. In short, I would say absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, do not ask her if she wants you to go or not. Don't do that. Absolutely not. Because even though, listen, I don't want no trouble. I don't want to cause no fights. I don't want to make things worse. See, that mentality, and I thank you for asking the question, but let's unpack this. There was a book that was written some time ago, a phenomenal book called The Myth of Male Power. And in this particular book, it talks about how men do life, how they do relationships, how they do careers, how they do everything. And one of the things that men often feel is that, listen, if I'm the problem, if I'm the problem, why don't I just take the high road and remove myself? Because I don't want to cause more of a problem for you. And so whether that means I'm going to tap out, I'm not going on this vacation, or you know what, I'm just going to divorce because obviously I'm causing too much pain in your life. And in some extreme cases, the book even talks about, well, you know what, you're probably better off without me. I'm going to take my life, right? Because at least I can financially provide for you. At least I can give you a lifestyle without me with financial security that you can enjoy. And we think we're doing something noble by getting out of the way. But in the mind and in the hearts of our spouses, oftentimes they look at it as more selfishness. Like, really? So after all of this, you just gonna leave? Because you can't stand the temperature in the kitchen. You gonna tap out. We've been planning this trip to Hawaii for the last couple of months. Everything's paid for. We got the hotel, the resort, we got destinations, we got things we want to do. And then 3 days before, you gonna tap out? I think that's the absolute worst thing that you can do. Because guess what? When she comes back, are the problems gone? No. When you two come back, are the problems gone? No. So what would it be, a temporary relief just to come back to the same reality? Why not be intentional in your journey to show up different, to become someone different? Because there's nothing about Hawaii, as beautiful as it is, that's going to be magical and majestical, that's going to change anything in your situation. But it's your level of self-awareness and your level of intentionality in creating something different while in that space, and then bringing that back home. What I will say is that when you go away, you're breaking up the normal, everyday hum and drum pattern that you engage in. that's what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? And so if we have this certain way of operating, we're disconnected, we don't engage, we don't really talk, and now we go away and we're forced to be in close proximity. There's only one room in a resort, so we're forced to sleep in the same bed. We're strangers in a foreign land, so we're forced to eat together. Okay, well, if you're in that situation, how can I show up differently? How can I make this unique? Because, I know a lot of people who fuss and fight and argue and are completely disconnected, and they go away and have an amazing time. And so they think it was about where they went. No, their mindset and their whole approach was different, which created a new experience. The key is whatever magic, if you will, that you create there in Hawaii, intentionally bring it back home. What happens is we have new life, new passion, a new connection, a new vibe, a new intentionality. We're lighthearted. We've made the decision, listen, we're going away. How about we do a truce for the next week? How about we do a truce? We're agreeing that we're not going to fight. We're agreeing that we're not going to talk about the past pains. We're just going to have fun. And they do. And they come back and do what? Go back into old patterns and old ways. And now they're fussing and fighting and talking about the pain. Why not bring what you created in that foreign land back home and create a new reality for your life? So I would say go. And I would say be purposeful and make every interaction that you have with her a meaningful one. That's what I would do. Hope that answers that question. Man, there's a lot. I got to slow down and scroll through these questions. All right, guys, I'm reading this in real time and I don't have my glasses. I'm going to do the best I can. I have friends that have shared with me that they don't have infidelity issues, but communication issues. Would the last chance weekend be good for them or any type of counseling? That's a phenomenal question. Good to see you, sis. I just realized who this was, Carlene. Yes. So we have many people who have done the last chance weekend that have not experienced infidelity, without a shadow of a doubt, because as we've talked about, this is a three-pronged approach. We focus on your marital recovery, your individual recovery, and we say affair recovery, but any type of betrayal that you may have experienced. Oftentimes there's some type of hurt, some pain point, some situation that happened that a couple has not been able to recover from. And so we've had a good handful of couples who have come and, physical or emotional infidelity was not their issue, but there were other pressing issues that created a brokenness in their connection and they needed something. You understand? And the purpose of a last chance weekend is for the fact of going through a healing process in a much more rapid period of time, because the weekly, hourly sessions is so slow. It's so painstaking. It's so, emotionally draining that a lot of couples just tap out. Statistically, the average couple only goes to about 8 to 12 sessions before they tap out. And they convince themselves that either the counselor wasn't any good or the process didn't work or nothing happened fast enough or nothing was sustainable, because the process within itself is not conducive for transformation. And so we've put together a very unique process that really allows couples to experience a high level of transformation and long-lasting change, which is sustainable. So absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, I would encourage you to tell her to reach out to us so that we can set her up and her spouse up for success. All right, here's another question, I believe. Good morning. My wife and I are in a make it break it year. Okay. And we've had some tragic and high stress situations. What's the best way to stay strong for my wife and give the best support? Thank you. That's a very good question. How do you stay strong for your wife? Well, you have to be strong within yourself. And so my question is, what is your level of strength? Okay. What is your level of sanity? Where are you at mentally, emotionally, and physically? Because it's hard to be for others what you struggle to be for yourself. And so my question is, as you provide support for your wife, what level of support are you getting for yourself? What anchor, what foundation, what support system, what community, what accountability group are you a part of that will help keep you on the right path and the right track and keep you going in the right direction? I love your question. And I'm not assuming anything from this question, but I'll speak to a larger issue. The larger issue is a lot of times people think that if they just watch a video or just read a book or just scroll through social media and find some shareable hashtag statement of inspiration, that that's enough to get them through. And I've realized that in my own personal life, and I'm an avid book reader, and I love studying and researching and figuring out new ways of doing things. I realized that I could get there. It just may be a longer journey, a harder journey with missteps along the way, detours along the way, trial and error, setbacks, challenges, and I eventually get there. I think any couple can eventually get there, but the question is, how long will it take and what will that journey be like? And I learned that through the power of mentorship, I was able to collapse time. I was able to save thousands of hours or thousands of dollars in mistakes being made, learning how to figure it out in a quick way that brought about change and transformation. It's like the difference between reading a book, like I want to study being a chef and I'm going to read a bunch of books, versus how about if I went to chef school? What if I was trained by an actual chef? I would probably have a level of insight that I would get working with a chef than I would just reading a bunch of books. Does that make sense? So in terms of you supporting her, you absolutely should support her. You should pray for her. You should pray with her. I would encourage you to, as a couple, we call it drinking from the same well, reading a book together, going to a class together, doing something in support of one another. So you're providing that level of support, and then you're creating an atmosphere for fun and connection. You want to do that. But while doing all of that, it will be good to be connected to a system, a program, a person, somebody that can give you what you need, and guidance and direction and strategy. A lot of times people have the best of intentions of what they should do and how they should do it. But as they say, the road to hell has been paved with good intentions. And so if you're looking for something deeper to guide you through and to guide the two of you through a journey that will guarantee success, reach out to us. We got FOUNDRY, we have UNEARTHED, we have these intensives, we have counseling sessions, we have everything that we need to support you. And we don't just provide counseling, which is a unique, specific path. We provide coaching, which is something entirely different. The combination of the two allows it to be more comprehensive to give you the breakthrough that you need. So, hope that answers the question. All right, Stephanie, let's see what she has to say. It's been a year now. My body doesn't react to him. My trust is shot, but I can tell he's trying. I'm scared to let my guard down because of what ifs. So I'm considering continuing the divorce process. So it's not a question, it's just a statement. Well, I think that the solution is in the question that you presented, if there's even a question you're asking for. But you said that I'm scared to let my guard down because of what ifs. And that's your problem. The reason why you don't feel anything, the reason why you do not trust him, the reason why you don't have the connection that you're searching for. Yes, we know that he initiated this whole problem by being unfaithful, if that's the issue. I'm not sure if that's what it is, but I'm just assuming that's what it is. So let's just say the problem was initiated or created by your spouse. Well, you have come into agreement and partnered with the continuation of the pain that you're experiencing because of your own inability to release, to let go, to forgive. And you've built up a thick, impenetrable wall that does not allow him to pierce through it. And so you're not connected. You can be physically in the same place, but emotionally, mentally, intellectually so far apart that it feels like you're living with a stranger. And, the touch that used to stimulate you is now the touch that repels. So he can't touch you. He can't talk to you. He can't spend time with you. The 3 T's that are critically important to healing a relationship: touch, talk, and time. And tenderness. How about that? But you haven't allowed for it because you've allowed the enemy to get into your head with a bunch of what ifs. You've allowed fear, doubt, insecurity, and all of these scenarios that you've played out. What you're doing is you're architecting. Okay, what does architecting mean? I was telling some of the Foundry brothers this morning that the founders of this nation many years ago, they didn't believe in a future. They didn't believe in the future of this country. They believed the future in. Wait a minute. They didn't believe in a future. They believed the future in, right? And so in essence, they were architecting. They were looking 100 years, 200 years down the line. and they visualized what that life was like. It became very real to them. And once they had an idea of what it was, they took that image, they took that vision, and they believed it into their present. And so maybe all of your fear, doubt, and insecurity about a future outcome keeps you from opening up, letting your guard down, and being vulnerable to your spouse. So it's no longer your spouse hurting you, possibly, but really it may be you hurting and harming yourself. And so I would encourage you to get out of your own way, because the thing that you're trying to experience, you are the main culprit keeping you from experiencing it. Because you said that he's trying, right? And many times we have spouses that are doing all the right things, they're checking all the boxes, they're making things happen, but we are the ones that keep ourselves from receiving the very thing that we say that we ultimately want. So that would be my advice for you, sis. I hope that helps. And I would say, listen, let me just say this. Couples Academy believes in divorce. We absolutely believe in divorce. I divorced me from myself. When I was considering the divorce process with Danielle, before going down that path and that aisle, I made a decision to divorce me from myself. So we believe in divorce if you're divorcing the right one. I had to divorce myself from negative thinking. I had to divorce myself from my communication patterns. I had to divorce myself from the emotional reactions. I had to divorce myself from a toxic mindset that kept me in my pain. And when I divorced me from myself, it allowed me to remain married to my wife. And here we are 20 years later, 4 beautiful children, living in our purpose, making an impact on the lives of others. So sis, I know where you're at. We've been where you're at, but you don't have to go down that path. And if you do, you have you to blame. Did you hear what I said? Did that rub you the wrong way? Did that hurt a little bit? Did that sting? Yeah, because it's a decision that you are making. And if you think happiness is waiting for you on the other side, look at the statistics. You know, divorce is not a pathway to happiness. It's not going to guarantee happiness. Oftentimes, the things that you are anticipating is waiting for you on the other side. This bliss, this joy, this wonderful experience is the very opposite of what you get. In fact, statistics have said that those who have initiated divorce, within 5 years of that divorce, they still carried the same pain that they had, but it was a double pain that they carried once the relationship was over. So I'm saying, what have you done to change your situation around? Have you gone to counseling? Have you sought help? Have you read a book? Have you gone to a class? Have you done a retreat? Have you done anything? Maybe you have done some things, but maybe you haven't done everything that's necessary to turn your situation around. So that would be my advice for you, sis. Reach out to us. Let us help you turn your situation around. All right, a lot of questions. You know what? Let's do this. I'm going to stay on a lot longer with you guys today, but we're going to go to a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're watching the Couples Academy Show. It's all about your questions. A lot are in, and I'm going to get to them. Stay right there.
What is the best gift or investment for a newly engaged couple?
What do couples really need? Proactive, transparent synergy. They need to synthesize a 12-week premarital group counseling experience that combines the mind, heart, mission, and vision for an effective future.
No matter the age or life experience, this research-based curriculum will help to increase marriage resilience by 30%. Why choose Synthesize for premarital counseling? 1, to better understand yourself and your partner and to audit your past and present condition in order to be a proactive couple.
2, to engage in crucial conversations about finances, communication, sex, and intimacy, to be fully and completely transparent.
3, to develop a unified vision and mission in order to embody high levels of synergy.
Give the gift that builds proactive, transparent synergy. Synthesize.
Hey guys, we're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. Great questions coming in. I hope that my answers are giving insight and direction for you. Sorry for them being so long, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you get it. We got another question that just came in. I think it's a great one. My husband and I have been in a serious wilderness season. Yes, I get it. We have improved in our communication and have a strong friendship, but he says he doesn't see me romantically. Can that be fixed? In matter of fact, I think you added a little bit later. You said we are still intimate very regularly, weekly, but he's still not invested in the romantic aspect of the marriage. Okay, so we can look at this a few ways. Let me just first say, yes, you can restore the romance. There was a season where we were just married. We were just going half on kids, half on bills, just half on life. And that connection and that romance wasn't there. And guess what? There's many couples in that space. But guess what? We have needs, so we marry. Might as well have sex. Right. And I can use your body and you can use mine, and we can help each other experience a physical release that feels good, but that has nothing to do with my connection with you. So it feels very transactional, right? It's like prostitute John. Maybe not that bad if the relationship is that bad, but it's cold, right? It's empty. It's a task. It's a duty. It's just like anything else. It's like duty sex. There's responsibilities. There's things that we have to do to maintain our house, to pay these bills, to feed these kids. Sex is just another responsibility or obligation that we have to fulfill, but there's no passion, there's no chemistry, there's no intimacy, there's no any of that. And your question is, in essence, can that be fixed? Absolutely. But it requires intentionality. And I think a lot of times people are waiting for something to fall out of the sky, something to hit them, something to quicken them in their spirit. So we're waiting for outside external forces to impact us internally. We're living life from the outside in rather than from the inside out. Living life from the inside out says, you know what, I'm going to make it my mission. I'm going to be determined that I'm going to create a new reality for my life and for my relationship. But it first starts with desire, right? He doesn't know if it can be fixed. He hasn't invested in that area of the relationship, but is there at least a desire? Like I hear many people say, like, I want to have sex. I want to be connected. They don't have the want, but they want to. And so the question is, if you want to, if you desire something, well, what are you doing? Because it requires you doing something. See, faith without works is dead. So you can have faith and hope that things will turn around, but what are you doing? What atmosphere are you creating? If we're talking about creating a new pattern in our relationship, it requires intentional effort on my part, on your part. And so therefore, work day is important. Like we're talking about play day and having fun and having sex and being romantic, but you need the work day, instituted consistently in order for the play day to fully be playful. So if you want to bring it back, read a book on it. Read a book on romance. Read a book on seduction. Read a book on intimacy. Read a book on emotional connection, because it's not the physical act of penis and vagina. It's not me grabbing breasts, penises, and vagina. It's not doing that, right? That's a physical thing. You can do that technically with anybody, but what you're missing is the connection. The connection. You're missing the heartfelt connection, soul-body connection. That's what you need. Do a deeper dive into that, and it will turn the entire romantic element of your relationship completely around. So hopefully that helped. Kenny, good to see you, brother. He has a great question. Good morning, brothers. To piggyback on Daryl's question, if one spouse is invited to attend an event and the other isn't invited internationally, should they go without their spouse? And part two to that is, if they do, What does that say about the relationship? I think everything needs to be put in context. So I'm going to give you a scenario that fits your question. Danielle is going to Lagos, Nigeria. She was invited to speak at a women's conference. I was not invited. Should she go without me? Absolutely. I'm going to a marriage conference the very next month in Nigeria. I was invited. She was not. Should I go? Absolutely. Right? So depending upon the purpose of the trip determines whether it's realistic, whether it's suitable, whether it's appropriate to bring someone. But if you're talking about, hey, I'm getting together with some friends or some colleagues and yeah, we're going to be touring and having a good time. Yeah, I was invited. Sorry, you weren't. That's a different situation and scenario. Right? And if they weren't, so here's the question. They were not invited, but were they kept from being invited? That's the question. Like if I said, Bob, I want you to come with me to such and such. Well, am I an individual man inviting another individual man, or is it me and my wife inviting an individual person, but don't bring your spouse? Like, I think it requires more details. It's one thing for somebody to be invited. It's another thing for somebody to be excluded. If your spouse is being excluded, you shouldn't go. If your spouse hasn't been personally invited, I would ask, hey, sounds like a great idea. Can my spouse come? Because we do life together, right? So what does it say about your relationship if you go and you don't bring her? Well, it may say that you're not connected, you're not in alignment, you don't do things as one, as a couple. Is it okay for you to go away without your spouse? Absolutely. But the circumstances and the way that you frame the question makes me think that there's something more to it that you haven't had the opportunity to unpack. Does that make sense? So I think that's worthy of a deeper dive to give you a clear and concise answer. But the general principle is that we do life together. And if there's space for my wife to come along for us to experience something, that's exactly what I would do. There are times when Danielle goes away and she's just like, oh my God, I wish you were here, Hassani. I'm missing you. I'm longing and I'm craving for you. And I just wish you had the experience, right? And sometimes I feel the same way. But that's what happens when you're connected and when you're one. You want to do life with. You want to share life with someone that you love. And here's an opportunity to travel internationally and do that together. All right, Sarah, any advice on how to continue to show up as a good wife? I thought that I was doing everything right. He says our marriage is the best it's ever been, but cheated. It's so out of character for him, 20 years. See, I think the problem is in the actual question. If he's being honest, if he's being true, let's go in that direction first, that the marriage is great connection, but yet he cheated. So what you do is you're making yourself responsible for his decision. You've placed yourself in a position of scrutiny that says, well, what am I not doing as a wife? Am I not sexing you enough? Am I not cooking? Am I not cleaning? Am I not accommodating? Am I not communicating? Am I not, like, what am I not doing, or what should I be doing to keep you from doing what you did? And so I say this all the time. Affairs happen for one of two reasons. Either something going on in the relationship, and it doesn't seem like that's the case based upon what he's saying, or something's going on inside of him. And I know there's been books and articles and videos and all types of trainings on why happy people cheat. So you have people who are in a great relationship, but they still cheat, and it has nothing to do with the relationship. It has to do with one's own internal issues that they have not dealt with, that they have not overcome. There are many high-risk factors that will cause an individual to make bad decisions. Okay, and it has sometimes nothing to do with the spouse, nothing to do with their relational dynamic. But I do think it requires a deeper dive. So have you guys ever gone to counseling and had anybody unpack the why? Because understanding the why of the affair will then give you insight on what needs to be done to address that why and to prevent that why from ever happening again. Does that make sense? Because if you made yourself the why, you may be falsely diagnosing the problem. And so it persists. It continues to happen again because it wasn't about you showing up in a certain type of way. It had something to do with something completely different. But we didn't zone in on that because we made it your fault. Now, maybe you are the problem. Maybe your relationship is the problem and he's passive aggressive and he doesn't open up and he's not direct and he doesn't share his feelings. That's another issue. So this is what I'm saying. These things can be discovered when you go through a process. And this is why doing things on your own aren't as effective as when you work with someone. So I hope that gives you insight. Reach out to us. All right, here's another question. I would love to begin counseling coaching with your program. Do you have tailored finance options to fit different incomes? I'm willing to pay, but we need something that fits us and don't want to wait. That is a phenomenal question. I didn't pay him to ask that question. I tell you, God's time is perfect. Yes, we actually have financing. So we have internal payment plans, but we also have partnered with a financial company that provides 100% financing regardless of your credit score. Okay, regardless of your situation, they approve any and all, and give you upwards of 2 years to pay it off. And if you pay it within a year, it's zero financing if paid off within a year. So what you need to do is reach out to us. Go to couplesacademy.org, set up a discovery call. We'll tell you more about the details of that, and you can get started today. And it's perfect for couples who realize that, the weekly counseling thing is good. I mean, I'll do it, but what I really want to do is the intensive or last chance weekend, or I want to do this moving forward program or FOUNDRY on Unearthed, and they don't have the means to do it. Well, now we've created a partnership where no one has to be turned away. So I hope all of you are hearing that and that you reach out to us so that we can assist you in that way. All right. Here's another question. Can you also recommend good books on marriage that give you tools to implement, like a workbook, communication related, etc.? So my first question is, have you read The Audacity of Marriage, 10 Principles to Lifelong Partnership? That is the book that Danielle and myself have written. Okay. It's the foundational book that we encourage all couples to read. You need to get that book. That book is available for you. You can go on Amazon. There you. I was waiting for you, Bobby. I'm like, are you going to pull it up? You can go on Amazon and you can order that book, and it's a phenomenal book, and it will give you instruction and implementation. And I would encourage that you read it together, and on your work day, you discuss it together so it can make a significant change in your marriage. So I hope that answers your question. All right. Here's another question. When you want to, that means the desire is not there. It's gone. That's true. That's a fact. When you want to, it means that the want that you wish you had isn't there. But so let's just go along with the premise. It's dead. It's gone. Does that mean that it can never come back? Absolutely not. Danielle believed in the beginning of our marriage that once the love and the passion was gone, it could never come back. But we're here 20 years later. We're doing pretty good. We have a pretty healthy relationship. She had to change. Here's the reality. The reason why, and this is a big piece of it, the reason why you don't have the passion is because you don't have a mindset that supports it. Because you inherently believe, and I'm not speaking about you specifically, but just people particularly, because you believe it's dead and gone and can't come back, well, whatever you choose to believe, you're right. You're right. If you believe it can't happen again, it's not going to. If you believe that it can happen again, it is going to. It is a fact that your belief is the main driver of your life. Your deeply embedded belief system governs how you live your life. Your belief system, your belief system, BS. First letter in belief is B. First letter in system is S. BS. Most of your thinking is BS. It's a lie. It's not true. But because you believe it, you show up and live life based upon those beliefs. If you changed your mindset, if you change your belief, I guarantee you're on the path to changing your reality. And so she once thought like that. She doesn't think like that anymore. That's why we're able to have something that she never thought was possible. And if it were possible for us, it's possible for you. I think we got one more question. I need to get y'all on the Hardly Initiated podcast. They're blowing up in Atlanta and they need this professional perspective. Let me know if you're interested. Brother, listen, This is what we're here for. Reach out to us. Bobby, put the number up on the screen, 678-200-8996, so that he can reach out to us. Dial that number and we'll set that up. Listen, guys, I hope this was helpful. Thank you for allowing me to go a little bit over tonight, this morning, 10 minutes over 40 minutes. I hope this gave you some insight. What we're going to do is we're going to pick up on Monday with the conversation that we started on yesterday, and that was, why are we still here? I had a brother reach out to me, former Foundry member, reach out to me and share with me a conversation he had with his wife about why she is still here. And I want you to have that conversation with your spouse this weekend. I think it's important to know what it is so that we can properly approach how to move forward in our journey together. And so if you're fully on board and your spouse isn't, listen, don't let that get you down. I was once there. We were able to turn it around, and we're going to talk about how to turn that around next week. Listen, get your tickets to the gala. The tickets are selling out. You don't want to miss it. Trust me. Believe me. It's where you want to be. Love you guys. See you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Take care.